Nathan.
Hello.
My mother, Alicia, Paul, and Steve.
Tell me when it's good.
It's good. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ashley Campriani, and this is my persuasive speech for effective speaking at Stark State University, entitled The Importance of the Village Mentality with a Personal Challenge. To begin, our solar system has many different planets. They all swirl around the sun, and they also coalesce to become something much greater. Keep this in mind as I continue. Today, I'll attempt to sway your thinking towards mine in terms of yourself, our family, and the village mentality that I was raised with. And I'd like you to try to challenge yourself in the near future. I have personal experience growing up with the village mentality among my family. Today, I'll cover what it means to be a decision or result, how the village mentality applies, and then I'll circle back to the solar system later. This is a village in Italy called Manarola. I would like to begin discussing choosing to be a decision or a result in your life's walk. In our brain, with clarity, a memory emerges. I knew this following story as a child, and I found it again in an article written by Dean Young entitled The Fight of Two Wolves Within You. An old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he said to the boy. It's a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity. He is also inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on within you and with everyone around you. The boy quietly looks up and asks, who wins? Who will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. With these memories, you can choose A, remember the bad part of the situation, or B, remember the good part that happened in the situation, C, stand by and just observe, or D, all of the above. All of this is split-second decision-making that your brain does that you have to train in order to choose. The easiest answer is A. That's what most people fall into. It's the most negative. Then B is the most positive, which people tend to forget. And then C is the hardest. It's hard to pull yourself away from the memory and see it as an outsider. However, in my opinion, the most important answer to this question is D, all of the above. You need to look at it from all of the perspectives in order to analyze it thoroughly. We are all amalgamations of our memories, of every person we've ever met, of every place we've ever been. What or who will you decide to be today? That's the question that we must ask ourselves every day. I was told once by my grandmother and in a poem form, and then again later as an adolescent, I is who you want to be or will be. Myself is who we were, and then me is who you are now. In a manuscript written by 4 Harvard students entitled Emotion and Decision Making, it was said, decision theory requires that the decision maker evaluate the options at hand by assessing the utility of each expected outcome for each option. In layman's terms, think about all of your options as they come, based on the usefulness of each of the outcomes and make sure you choose which one is right for you in any given situation. Now that we've discussed what it means to be a decision or result, we will move forward and talk about what it means to live within a village. This is Kinsale, Ireland. A family is whatever you make it. Whomever it may be, these people that interact with you are your village. My mother instilled in me a phrase: people enter your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. As I searched for an author to no real avail, I believed deeper that this was not just one person's thought, that it has been used by many before. Take, for instance, what we are doing right now. Within villages and tribes around the world, orating, also known by Aristotle as rhetoric, was highlighted in history. For the Greeks, rhetoric, or the art of public speaking, was first and foremost the means to persuasion. I don't want to end up like Socrates, though. This is the death of Socrates. I think he's being poisoned. Each person in the village around you is important. Every story they have to tell is a message, if you choose to hear and listen to it. Near or far, whether you talk every day or you don't talk for a year, every member in your village is vital, an aspect of making you who you are. According to the abstract of an article entitled Athens or Anarchy, Soapbox Oratory, and the Early 20th Century American City, written by Mary Ann Tracidi in 2014, soapbox orators set up temporary platforms on the street corners and in squares and parks. They used words, images, sounds, and their body to draw people in. Their lively performances temporarily disrupted everyday activities and transformed places into vibrant spaces for public deliberation. Change. This is the storefront in Abjur, Nigeria. Some of these people need to speak. For others that were too afraid to stand up for themselves upon the soapbox, you see, fear stung their lips, covered it up. Yet passion and love from other peoples in their village encouraged them to stand up on that soapbox. To all the people who cannot speak in your village, there is a purpose. For those who cannot, perhaps it is to instill courage in others to do so, without fear. They may also join in the chorus of voices and make change happen, even if their voice is quiet. The village I have is vast. I'm right here, as you can see. I'm kind of on the side. Anyway, people I have met, the places I have visited. Now my family is my village. They help me to stand when I cannot. I, in turn, encourage others wherever I can. To each and every one of us, there is a purpose. The mothers will mother, the fathers will father, and the friends will uplift, and they'll never be forsaken. And the children, by proxy, will be well-rounded and safe, because all the eyes are watching the children. I like how my village raised me. An old adage I located in an article on Afri-Prav by Reverend Joseph Healy, where he depicts a Nigerian proverb, states, it takes a whole village to raise a child. The article goes on to talk about learning to accept yourself and others the way they are. Now that we discussed the village mentality, we will circle back to the solar system. That's a hard picture to kind of take in. That's Earth, that's our solar system, and you go through, and that's a series of galaxies. Think of our minds each as a world of their own. We spin with others who are like-minded, with just enough polar opposition to keep things going. We all live in our own perception of the world, and in this way, we are alone in our thinking. But unlike the planets, as a human race, we've been able to access language that allows us to visit other worlds. And we, as a human race, are each part of our own village, to our family, our solar system, among the sea of other solar systems that all fit on the pinprick of a needle. In my own opinion, this is a song by Helen Reddy, a line out of that song. Think of our minds, each as a world of their own. Well, I already said that. Give me a moment. The people in the village aren't necessarily the center of the village. I leave that spot for a higher power. Each planet spins on its own trajectory with its own tight-knit group around it. These are the people that are closest to you, the people who live with you, for instance. Next, we will notice that we spin in a beautiful array that highlights our similarities and our differences, our strengths and our flaws. While some planets are hot, others are cold. While some are green, others are blue or red. In this same way, our uniquity is what brings us into our gravitational pulls. Luckily, though, unlike the planets themselves, we have a way to communicate audibly, as I stated before. In conclusion, I would like to close with the following statements. We have specifically looked at what it means to be a decision or a result, the village mentality, and the relation of our solar system to the family unit. I hope that I have successfully informed you about one of my philosophies on family. Also, perhaps I wizened you to the fact that stepping outside your comfort zone can be a good thing. In the next few weeks, I want you to ponder over the things that I've said here today and analyze your memories and those of others that you may hear. Where you may see a flaw, instead look for a reason. If you are in pain, know it's for a season. And remember always, we are family for a lifetime. Also remember that when one of your other villages is down and out, we are all must seek to uplift them rather than tear them down further. We are all family here in this room and as a human race. Thank you. And that's a line from Joe Dirt. It says, life's a garden, dig it. Stop. Wait, show the audience first.
Me.
Nathan. My mother. Alicia. My brother. And my father. Steve.
Sir.
Now just hit stop.